Howdy guys, welcome back to Cruciman's Inventions. So today I'm going to be taking you through this reverse trike that I've just started building. This is kind of like part one, and we have a big sprocket here, and I'm just going to take you through what I've done in this, well, to build this back wheel basically. So okay, let's get started. So this wheel size is, it's a Dunlop racing wheel. I don't know if this can, there we go, Dunlop racing wheel. It's off a TQ midget sort of cart. As you can tell, it is a slick, it is heavy, and what determines its tread is the hole here. The holes, they have one here and they have one on the other side. Oops, which is over here. Okay, full of some dirt. So that determines its tread depth. Okay, so the things I had to do around this to build this one back end looks pretty good, by the way. Let's kind of have a little look at it. It is running on 1-inch bearings. They are pillar block bearings, as you can see, and I have this piece of angle line down here which I'm ready to weld the inside. I've welded all the outside, and I'm ready just to attach everything and weld on the inside, and then smoothing all that out as much as I can. Just as long as I can get a nice bead on the inside, the angle line will be plenty strong enough for this application. So we're running 1-inch bearings, 1-inch axle, and I'm using these, which took me ages to find and ground down. These little, where are we? These little screws here. I gotta mark them and drill little holes into this axle, just a little bit, and then drill these down so that the axle doesn't move. So getting back over here, it's a very strong axle, by the way. It's a 1-inch. We're using a lot of 1-inch collars here. So we've got a 1-inch collar here on this side. We also have one on the inside over here, which is, if we can get that in there, guys. Yep, there we go. So we have one welded on the inside here. Now, so it is locked in two places, and that is divoted into the axle and locked in. I had to make special tools up, actually, so that I probably won't be able to find it now, but yeah, here we go. I did find it. That tool there with a starkey at the end welded on a bolt can get down into the fine areas. Like if I wanted to just attach this sprocket down here, if you can see down here, see the grub screw where I have to get down there, see it? So that's where that gets down to, and then I can take it off with a crescent or anything from there, a socket or something, you know. But very handy making these sort of tools. Anyway, the alternator that's going on it, guys, is a Ford one. It's the old one off the drag trike. It's already rewired and ready to go with all its bits and pieces. The mag wires here to power up the center, and then the outside field wires to go to the controller. It's rocking 420 pitch chain at the moment, sprocket at the moment. We're going to change this up a little bit for another one which is slightly bigger, and it's the same pitch as this here, which is 517. As you can see, the teeth are much bigger. This was supposed to be freewheel, but what had happened, guys, over the few days of me building this was the freewheel was sloppy. I could push it side to side a fair way, and I didn't like it. So I just welded it up all into the, you know what I mean, all into the thing down here. See? Try and get that camera down there. So it's all hard. It's all hard into the axle, but you can take it off on the axle. Anyway, you suppose you're all wondering what all this is. Well, that's the green goblin. This took a little while. This took me a day to make this hoop. But I got it all in there, guys. And yeah, so this is the green goblin. And this had the green goblin here. Some of you would remember this. That was in the front. That was years ago. It's like well over 14 something years ago. And that used to go here in the front of this thing. It's pretty cool. So I ripped all that off. And this is the front end. If you look at the steering down here, see the way that this is done? The couple of arms coming up to all this stuff here. Separate tubes going down. Hard tube in a stem coming down. Very cool. And then these ones here and this one at the back here would have two separate rods. This one and the back one. And it would go simply to these ones. But I'm going to change it all because, well, the measurements between here and the back didn't work out. I think one of the sides is slightly up, a fraction. If I look at it on the side, you'll see what I mean. Like you can, oh, I don't know if I can see it, but it looks a little bit out to me. See what I mean? It could be too fussy, but I could just leave it like it is and just rebuild it and put a roof on this thing. But this is kind of part one to this. It's the building this whole back end. Yeah, what tyres are going on the front? 16s. 16s. Okay, let's go and look at 16s. So 16s are these. What's on the little bat trailer here that holds a whole lot of 14 other batteries for the e-bikes and stuff, and these are little 16-inch tyres. 1.95. So I'm thinking that's the size right there for the front of this. It should be quite good, guys, but we are really only in part one, and I do have a lot to do on that. But I do have two of these tyres. It's going to be really interesting when I put this here, right up in here, in this area. You see that? It's going to be pretty cool. Look at that. I'll get it pretty close. So, of course, I'll change the sprocket out for another one. I was going to use a washing machine gearbox, which is a 2-speed, which I really wanted to incorporate into this video, but I'm not going to. But that's neat. It's a 5-to-1 gearbox. And then when you hit the second gear, it's kind of like 1-to-1. So yeah, this is the sprocket. It's pretty huge. Gotta change this one out. I think the chain's just right from what I worked out. We will have an update on this. And really, when I hop in here, if I hop in here, lengthen it out or whatever, you know, there's a decent amount of space down here, you see what I mean? I'll change this. I'll put all of that right in the middle if I can, because I want one seat, not two. This used to be a 2-seater. Used to have 2 wheels at the back, and I'm just trying to change it to one and make it electric, and yeah, and so forth. So I done all that, but kind of didn't work out, so I've got to go back over it all. This is my start here, and this is part one. Still a little ways to go. That whole thing was a school project years ago, and it took me a whole month to build. But we'll definitely get there on that, guys. I gotta find a few parts here and there, so yeah, a bit more solid steel, nice shapes. I want nice shapes. Then I gotta all fill it in. I don't know if I want the round at the top or just square it off because of how high the top has to be for a roof, you see. So I might be looking at a square kind of a, not so rounded off or something. A back window. There's a few little bits and pieces involved, but I'll soon get there with these ideas for sure, guys. So one more little look around. Yeah, what's the controller going on? I get a small one at the moment. It's only 800 watts at 48 volts, but I'll up it to 72 volts for the time being. And I'm going to have a big battery tray down here and go from there. I'm going to try and launch this up to at least 100 volts or 96 or something, and have a big drop down tray in there. So awesome stuff, guys. I shall see you in the update of this. It's taken the last 3 days to build that whole back end, but it's really on key, and I can't wait to see what it does. Awesome stuff, guys. Cruiser Man out. Thanks for watching. Cuckoo.